Hey everybody, Mature Simmer here. So I've done it. I've gone ahead, I've quit my job, decided I'm going to be a pilot, at least virtually. So, looking at a pilot's life here, I've talked about going ahead and giving this a shot. And it's kind of been on the list, and one of those things that, was I going to do it before? Was I going to do it after 2024 came out? And while there's a career mode and so forth in 2024, it does look like that's more for just giving you a way to unlock certain types of aircraft and so forth, but not necessarily any more fleshed out than any of the other things. So I think even with the missions that come up and so forth, it's really looking like you're going to just be able to randomly choose things to do to some degree that interest you, which will be interesting. I mean, I'm certainly going to be involved in the career mode and taking a look at that and seeing if that's going to maintain a more steady place in my simming or not. But this had the intrigue of more of a structure, and really where I ended up pulling the trigger is there were a couple things that happened in the last 2 days, one of which was really sad in the fact that I was thinking, oh, I'm going to upgrade my video card. I'm going to, and of course to upgrade your video card, you've got to get a new power supply and whatever. So I had ordered all these things up. I'd gotten a 4080 card. I'd gotten a 1200 watt power supply. I could have gotten an 850 watt or 1000 watt. It would have been the same size, so it doesn't matter. They got here and went ahead to put them in my computer because, I'm certainly comfortable doing that kind of stuff, whatever, and very quickly realized that neither the power supply and definitely not the 4080 card were going to remotely fit in my computer. The space for the power supply under the motherboard in the Dell G5 5000 that is my machine probably was lacking about half the vertical space it needed. And as far as the graphics card, I would have needed my case to be probably a foot wider, or 8 inches at least. But the graphics card, it's not like it was tight and it would not barely fit. Like, it literally stuck out. Like, there was no way it was going to get in the case. So it lasted like maybe 10 minutes. So those are on their way back to Amazon, sadly. I did actually even price out, like, well, what if I got a new machine? That would be double what it would have cost me to just get the card and the power supply, and I'm not doing that for a simulation, no matter how good the simulation is, especially since it really looks like Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 will run just fine with what I have. It just won't be at the exceptional level. So that was the sad part. But as part of that journey, or not part of that journey, but just looking at other things, I had gone ahead and looked at F124, was 50% off, gave that a shot for about an hour, realized it was too arcadey in the driving model, and I'm like, it's going to mess up anything I'm doing in iRacing. So I refunded that, and even at 50% off, it was like nearly $40. And so I'm like, I was going to spend $40 on F124. I refunded that. I'm finally going to pull the trigger on a pilot's life because it's basically the same price, a little bit less actually. And I'm like, I know I'm going to get way more use and way more enjoyment out of this than I will out of F124. So that is how we got here. So my intent is to just have a series where I'm going ahead and working through this. The thing that was intriguing, and no, Neofly isn't going to go anywhere because, again, Neofly is general aviation focused, where I've clearly seen this is very much commercial aviation focused. And while, maybe with the other the things I could get to that point at some point, I just really do love the commercial aviation stuff and flying those planes. So I'm like, what? There's space in my calendar for both of these, as far as enjoying both. I don't have to pick one or the other. So we can see, I've got my bank account here. It's been credited. We've got an inbox, so let's see what it tells us. We've been credited with $5,000. I'm no longer unread. I'm a junior first officer, but I am unemployed. So, my quest, while hey, I'm unemployed, I don't have this job, but someone's going to hire me, right? So, not sure what these events are. Let's see. Random flight event. I see. So I can get paid $300. Yeah, I'm wondering if I could do that with and this is Sunday. Travel the world together in a regular Sunday group flight. I see. So they go ahead and they do that, and then on a random day. Interesting. But anyway, I don't know that you can do those without being part of an airline, without being employed. Or is that one of the ways you can do things? So let's see. So lots of events in the past, which makes sense. Oh, and I guess it shows how many flights there have been. Cool. Sunday Simbit, 348. So, it's a busy type of thing. Maybe we'll dabble in that at some point, but the reason we're here is to go ahead and get a job and start working. So, if I go to the job market, you do not have any aircraft licenses purchased. To access this page, you will have to first purchase a license. Do you want to do that now? I assume that would be a good thing. So, aircraft licenses. I love my Boeing 737, so that may make sense. Wow, this gives you lots of difficulty. There are a lot of operators for this. I am curious, like if I go to the Airbus 320, so there's more Airbus operators than there are Boeing operators. Now, very few 747, and I assume there's probably even less 777 operators there are. So, and I could jump to the crazies, but I think the problem then ends up being that I don't have a lot going on then as far as short flights or anything that's a little bit reasonable, because I'm assuming most 777s would be long haul. The other issue, obviously, is not being able to find an employer that would hire me, because I'm guessing if I look at these, Air Canada, Air France, Cathay, China Airlines, these are kind of the creme de la creme. KLM, I assume United. There's no Southwest doesn't fly them. I assume American does. Yes, American has some. Now, if I hit information, does that just take me to American? It's spinning. Interesting. I don't know. Did I freeze it? It says not responding. Oh, there we go. Airline details. So let's see what. Okay, so it's basically bringing up the fleet. Okay, wow, they have 300 of those. 969 aircraft, 5,400. I mean, that would be kind of the holy grail, getting to something like that, but in any event. All right. And let's see, I'm just curious now. Okay, so not a lot of file, because I know like the kind of the more the regional jet type things. I assume these are like Embraer. Yeah, the 171. Well, it's not the 175, is it? Why is it just the 170 but not the 170? I think there's a 175, because I know there's a 190 and a 195. But yeah, there's more Embraers. If you're doing Cessnas, you're just flying. So you've got 10 operators, so you'd be just doing little tiny people. But then I'm back, like, obviously, to the same thing, and it's kind of crazy, $2,000 to get my license for a Cessna, where it's $2,500 to do the 737. So I think the simple answer is certainly the 737. And that gives me, let's go look, because yes, I know this is like an airline that I've seen people start in, stuff like that. So we're going to go with that. All right, aircraft license purchased successfully. So now we're down to 2,500. So I had to dig around a little bit, and so aircraft licenses can be accessed via the shop items. I've definitely seen a lot about these things in the shopping, where basically you can see they're in essence bonuses to either money, so you can basically do investments that give you bonuses to money, or you can do training, which gives you access to extra XP. But most people have indicated that I've seen, the little bit I've watched, that these don't make a lot of sense. Because you get such small bonuses. Like, again, you're spending $30,000 to get a 3% bonus, on what you have. And similar, like, to get 1 times XP, 1% XP, you're paying 10,000, and even if you pay 30, you're getting plus 3. I mean, I suppose if you add all these up, you're getting 12 or 15%. So if you have tons of money, I don't know, maybe we'll revisit it. But right now, we can do flight skips, which, so there you go. Purchase flight skips are used after the initial 5 free month limit. There are 3 flight skip packs, $500 for 5, $900 for 10, and $1,300. You'll be charged initially from the 5 free skips, and only after you have used them all, you will start to be charged for additional ones. So I'm not looking to be one of those employees that is like, I'm just refusing to work. So, and then I assume this moves me around so that I can get where I need to for a flight. But at this point, try not to make this intro super long, but I like to chat. Everybody knows that. So flight types, career purchased, events generated. Okay, well, I'm not going to have a Pilot's Life version 1 imported. But maybe they do come from that, because I didn't have a Pilot's Life. I decided I should put my picture up, so I did change my profile and get my picture in there, so we're all good to go. But at this point, we should be able to go to the job market. So part of why I wanted to get in here, we already have job offers. Well, see, I did not know that would be the case. So now the question is, are these up here? Because I don't know about any of these. So what I'm looking for is like Albastar, like how good are, okay, so there's 10 of 16, so they're in Spain. And I suppose, yes, let's take a look. So I am surprised. I really thought what I would need to do is come in here and apply, and then, maybe get a job offer by tomorrow. So I did not know that I'd already be here with some job offers, but maybe they're hanging around the licensing bureau and they saw I got stuff. All right, so basically, again, since they're Spanish, it looks like, what's this? Oh, Milan? No, not really Milan. Does it tell you like where the headquarters is? It's a privately owned Spanish airline, okay, Palma de Mallorca, that carries out scheduled and charter flights, and they have 5 738s. So that would give me 69 routes. Okay. So I guess let's see, and they're the cheapest. So maybe we'll go through, because the way I tend to evaluate things in my life is kind of like, all right, you're number one, and again, that they're the first one I looked at. They're number one. If I want to start working, they're number one. And then I basically am like, hey, let's see what things look like otherwise, and then we'll compare. So these pay a little bit more, $22.83 instead of $22.07, and this is Marabou. So I suppose I really don't need to go in because it tells me. All right, so Marabou, styled as Marabou, and legally incorporated as Marabou Airlines. OU is an Estonian. All right, so it's kind of an old Russian airline, headquartered in Tallinn, which is the capital of Estonia, if I remember that correctly, with operations based at Hamburg and Munich Airport in Germany. Ticket sales are handled by Condor, who describes the carrier as a partner airline. And they have simply two 738s. And there's, in theory, 100 routes, but what I probably want to do, so let me see if I filter by the 738. Let's see how that works. So does it tell me the number? It really doesn't. But we've got a good number, but basically 687 miles to 1600. So I probably should take a look. See, and I don't know if I sign with someone with two, like if there's a bunch of us that are only certified on that, am I not going to get my opportunity to fly? All right, so they go. Okay, so there's some short ones there. 200, so basically the 600, it looks like I've got 10-20 flights here with these that are shorter, and then there are some that get even longer that go beyond the 1600. But again, their entire fleet. So I think, like, we can watch the little line. If I get rid of that, see, I don't know. I don't think anything's changed, because I believe their entire fleet are 738s. And therefore, all 69 routes are available to me, where with Marabou, I'm only going to get a segment of the 100. Are there 69? Probably not. Yeah, looks like American's pretty popular. 412 out of 1,591 jobs. So I know part of what people talked about is sometimes you'll have airlines that are full. I'm not seeing that, and they were saying that in theory they expand the airlines so that things aren't entirely full, but here, British Airways Shuttle, 34 out of 34. So I wonder if they have awesome routes or something, because it's intriguing to me. The people that decide, yeah, I want to stay there, and I'm gonna, because I believe you can only work for one airline at a time. So it's like when I take the job, I think I'm also limited to when I can jump over. So Eurowings Discover, they're a 2-star, but I bet there'd be a challenge there. Let's see. Just curious. Okay, they're all Airbus, so I don't have the licensing for that, so I can't do that, but they're a German leisure headquartered in Frankfurt. Interesting. So this is part of what is intriguing as well. Nobody wants to work for Indigo. I fly from India. Interesting. I wonder why they're so unpopular. They have a lot of jobs. Of course, I mean, there's a lot of these others. You can work for the Libyan folks if you want. So let's see, Norwegian Air Shuttle's pretty popular. So right now, I mean, I'm not being super diligent but I think I'm scanning. So that caught my eye. I thought it was full. Ryanair Sun. All right, and Ryanair. Wait, oh no, that's not Ryanair itself, is it? It is. Oh, well, because a lot of people were like, ooh, I can start with Ryanair. Like, Ryanair will take me, but they're a 3-star thing. So I would think if it was a pilot with no experience, that would be pretty difficult. But anyway, looking through, like, we're getting down to the end here, and okay, 45 out of 455. Yeah, literally that's the only airline that doesn't have openings. That is not what I expected, so I mean, that's good to know. All right, so between the two, let's go back to our job thing, because we could get overwhelmed and distracted forever. Between Albastar and Marabou, I'm going to lean toward Albastar simply again because their fleet is entirely what I am licensed on. So I'll be able to fly anything in at any time for them. Marabou is limited, and Marabou's also, in a former Soviet republic, so like how stable are they or whatever. I don't know if that comes into things here, but now let's look at Tway. That sounds like Taiwanese or something. It is Asian. South Korea. Okay, headquartered in South Korea. Formerly Hansung is a South Korean low-cost airline based in Seongsu-dong, Songdong-gu, Seoul, South Korea. As of 2019, it was the third largest Korean low-cost carrier, having carried 2.9 million domestic passengers, 4.2 million international. So international traffic has quadrupled in the 3 years leading up to 2019. So their fleet is mainly 738s, so that's good. All right, so the basically really long, is it really long routes that vanished? Yes. So like these routes are something else. So I'm guessing, well, let's see. All right, so A332s if I wanted to do long hauls, and A33s. I don't necessarily want to do that, but it was just curious. And I'm not sure what the B38M is, to be honest, either. Or is the B38M like cargo or something? I don't know. But they have 218, and I'm guessing a good amount. So 98 to 2011. So definitely a lot of options there. And that would put me in an area I've certainly never really done much in. But the question is, how many smaller... There's a good amount of smaller routes. I mean, there's actually a lot of smaller routes. Wow. Because I'd say anything under 500, that's, an hour or two type of thing. Because they don't have that I can see a distance. They're intriguing. Because otherwise, yeah, I'm in Spain or I'm in South Korea. I think those are going to start. Man, but these guys pay a lot more. They're still a 1-star airline. They are low cost, so... okay. All right, and then Canadian North, I assume, will be in Canada. So, Bradley Air Services, operating as Canadian North, is a wholly Inuit-owned airline. Headquartered in Kanata, Ontario, Canada. It operates scheduled passenger services to communities in the Northwest Territories. Interesting. So, Nunavut and the Nunavik region of Quebec, as well as southern destinations such as Edmonton, Montreal, and Ottawa. Oh, okay, so they're entirely in Canada. See, I thought these were some drop down in the U.S., but I guess not. It also has an interlining agreement with Air Greenland. All right, so let's see. B7. All right, well, that works. Because that's just different 7-3 series. I think I can fly all of those. And again, if I go distance, so 2,400 to 133. And again, a good amount of short ones, but it's just, are they in Canada? I mean, they pay them the most, and not by a small amount. I mean, it's like 15%, almost 20% more than Tway. I don't know that I've ever. This is very intriguing to me. Now, what does the company forum do? Is it literally? Okay, so I guess people can put things out there, but all right. I suppose that's the other thing to look at. Like, do I have other people working with me? So let's see. Let's try to find Tway. Because, yeah, I think I'm going to go with either Tway or... Alright, so Tway has 10 pilots out of 59 possible jobs. And again, just to be sure, like, are there... Okay, they just have 59 jobs, but... And basically, if I take Tway, what I'm allowed to fly, other than heading over here to, what is it? Okay, Kyrgyzstan. That would be kind of the farthest. And these are, what, Guam, Malaysia. I mean, these are definitely intriguing, but there would be a lot of flying, I think, over water. Well, not necessarily. I'm like, there'll be a lot of flying over water, but not necessarily. Mongolia, Ulaanbaatar, which I think is the headquarters. Alright, so 10 pilots there, and then Canadian Northern. Let's see. Why is my alphabet not working? Canadian, C-A-N, where are you? Oh, they're the Canadian North. Alright, so there are, hold on. Alright, 15 of 40. Ooh, they're a 2-star airline. So that would be kind of fancy from that regard. That's the only 2-star airline that I have a job offer from, and that might be why they're paying more as well. Yeah, and there's 15 pilots versus 10 in the South Korean one. I'm just wondering if, like, these are going to be small airfields and if things are going to be challenging or not. So let me check, because I don't want to make a choice that's a bad one. But their fleet is, their B fleet is 733, 734. Let's see. I want to see what those are. Okay, so it's the 73. It's a stretched version of the 737-300. See, what I don't know is, because I've got, like, do I have to own these in the flight simulator? Because I don't know that I have all of them. I don't know how that works. So, initial member of the 2nd generation. Yeah, because, I mean, I have the 737, and so I can do that. But if I go, let's see. So let me do 737. Okay, so those are all kind of the longer routes. Yeah, I just don't know if it lets me use any kind of 7 series. I suppose that's how we find out. I know, I mean, I have 737s, so I can do that. And again, so we'll go all the way to the little ones. Yeah, so a lot of, I mean, it gives me a lot of range, and I know I have that. So I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to accept their job offer. Alright, so contract types available. You do not have any targets to meet. You are free to fly as much as you want. In case of no completed flights in 3 months, your contract will be ended automatically. All right, and then you have number of hours. You have to meet a target of at least 5 hours per week. Like in real time, 5 hours per week? Wow. If you complete your target, you'll receive a 10% bonus. If you're subject to a penalty. If you have no registered hours in 1 calendar month, your contract will be ended. And then numbers of flights target. You have to meet a target of at least 10 flights per week. You receive a 25 if you do not complete any flights. Holy moly. I mean, in theory, well, let me look at TWA. Is it the same? Yes, and the bonuses are the same and so forth. All right, so that is the same. Interesting. Yeah, because I don't know that I can do any of the things that are... I mean, I guess 5 hours a week is not crazy, but well, I think to start, I should do a worry-free and see what I start doing. All right, you are now a pilot at Canadian North. Best of luck. All right, so the job offers go ahead. All right, so it's made effective, and then you're a junior first officer, full-time. You continue for an indefinite period till it's terminated by the employee. $35.11 per flight hour. Payments distributed weekly. All right. So the employer agrees to pay things. Non-compete. All right. So the non-compete shall be in effect for 7 days. So the employee shall not have the right to act in the capacity of employer. I didn't know you could even do that in things. And there we go. So that's our contract. But obviously the job offers are gone. So interesting. So now if I go to my schedule, so does it have to generate one for me? Do I want to just do, yeah, I mean, I guess we'll just do short haul, just to, again, get our feet wet. And we'll generate the schedule. There we go. All right, so 247. So they're all, other than this being a 733. All right, and if I look, so it's giving me what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I thought it was 10 flights. Oh, I see. And you can regenerate. All right, so now what if I do random trips? Does that change anything, really? A little bit. I just have one. No, I guess I still have. Now what if I do random continued trips? All right, so after flipping through a bunch of schedules, I think I'm going to go ahead with this one, simply partially because they're all 737s. And so we're going to accept the schedule. Now what that turns into is, again, you can skip 5 flights, but and every one of these should be like, again, 564 I think is going to be, you can see like it's an hour and 57 minutes. So when we're up there, we're getting to like a 2-hour thing, but that's not too bad. So let's see. If I go to flight number ATK, so I'm assuming, yes, that's my first flight. So I assume if I do SimBrief dispatch, yes, this will go to SimBrief and generate a flight, which it is doing. Alright, a pretty straightforward routing. It's 390 nautical miles instead of 385, so it's not doing anything too crazy. So we'll generate the flight. Alright, so more than likely what I'll have done when you see this is I'll have edited this down, because right now I've been recording for 47 minutes as I've been digging through this and trying to just get familiar with how it works and what my choices are.